I guess I did say you could ask me questions later, didn't I? Is this really necessary? No, I don't have a problem with it, really. Go ahead and interrogate me. Let me ask you something first, though. I've been going through the battle aboard the Endar Spire over and over in my head since we crashed. Some things just don't add up for me. Maybe you could tell me what happened, from your perspective. I'm just trying to figure it out. I saw enough men lose their lives needlessly during the Mandalorian Wars. It's difficult to see that happen all over again. We lost the ship and a lot of good people, and for what? On the hope that the Jedi powers would save us somehow? Not that Bastila had much of an opportunity to act. We didn't choose that battle anyway, it got forced on us. Hell, I'm just as surprised that any of us are alive to talk about it. Come to think of it, it's more than a little surprising that you happen to be here, isn't it? I mean, just what is your position with the Republic fleet anyway? Not at all. I just think it's a bit odd that someone who got added to the crew roster at the last minute just happens to be one of the survivors. Don't be ridiculous. You've more than proved yourself since the crash. We wouldn't have made it this far without you, but still. No? Well, maybe. Don't get me wrong, it just seems odd that someone Bastila's party specifically requested to transfer aboard happens to survive. I'm not trying to be paranoid, it's just that I learned a long time ago that something which looks like a coincidence probably isn't, especially when the Jedi are involved. The Jedi requested numerous things when they came on board. I mean, hell, they practically took over the ship as far as I could tell. Considering your connection to Bastila and the Jedi, whether you know it or not, your presence here seems a little convenient. I'm probably wrong, and this is probably nothing, I know. I learned a long time ago not to take things at face value ever, and I hate surprises. I mean, I have to expect the unexpected, just to be safe. Look, it has nothing to do with you personally. I don't trust anyone, and I have my reasons. And no, I'm not going to discuss them, so can we just keep our mind on more important things? Good. Like I said before, I prefer action to talk anyway.
How can I help? Yes, I did. I wanted to speak to you about our mission and what lies ahead for us. It seems fate, or the Force, is driving us into a confrontation with the Dark Lord. You must prepare yourself for when we face Malak. The confrontation will be difficult for you. I remember how hard it was when I first faced Revan. It's true that due to my battle meditation, I was with the Jedi strike team that boarded Revan's ship. We did not kill Revan, however. Our mission was to capture Revan if possible. It was Malak who turned on his own master, firing upon Revan's ship while we were still on board it. It was his desire to kill us and his master both. Thankfully, we narrowly escaped the vessel as it exploded. As I said, we were there to capture Revan alive. The Jedi do not believe in killing their prisoners. No one deserves execution, no matter what their crimes. Remember that Revan and Malak were once great Jedi, heroes in every sense of the word. They demonstrate the danger of the dark side to us all. I'm sorry, we really shouldn't speak of this anymore. The memory of my confrontation with Revan is painful. Let's return to the mission, please.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan? What is it you would like to speak to me about? Of course. If there is anything else, I am here to help.
Lord Malak, the Star Forge is operating at 200% capacity, far beyond our expectations.
I am more interested in the young Jedi Bastila and her battle meditation. Have you learned how she escaped the destruction of Taris?
She was aided by Karth Onasi, a decorated war hero of the Republic and a legendary soldier. During the Mandalore Wars, he was honored many times for his bravery.
You know this man?
Yes, Lord Malak. He served under me when I still followed the Republic. You could say I was his mentor.
Interesting. How did you acquire this information, Admiral?
An eyewitness, Lord Malak. Calo Nord, a bounty hunter, was there when Bastila and Karth escaped the planet. Apparently, they left him for dead.
A Jedi and a war hero. It's a wonder you survived the encounter.
I am hard to kill, Lord Malak.
Calo has agreed to help us capture the young Bastila for a very hefty fee, of course. But I assure you, he is well worth the price. His reputation as a bounty hunter is well earned.
Her companions are nothing to me, Calo. But I desire the young Jedi taken alive, if at all possible.
Lord Malak, forgive me. There is something else. May we have a private audience away from the ears of the common soldiers?
I trust you are not wasting my time, Admiral Karath.
I promise you will be very interested in what Calo has to tell you about Bastila's other companions, Lord Malak.
Vanessa, a vision, like the one we shared on Dantooine. Did you see it? Of course. You must have. The Force is strong with us both. Kashyyyk is a lush but simple and undeveloped world. I would not have expected to find the alien technology of a star map here. The Wookiees of Kashyyyk make their home high among the Rosha branches. Only their bravest warriors dare to descend into the forbidding depths of the forest. If the star map is located far beneath us on the planet's surface, as our vision seems to suggest, it's unlikely the Wookiees even know of its existence. No doubt things will become more clear once we discover the star map's location.
You do? Well, fair enough. What do you want to discuss? I know you wouldn't understand where I was coming from. Let me try and explain. You got the skills of an elite commando, and you saved my butt more than once. Between that and your facility with languages, I'm lucky you're here. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop watching you being wary. I'm just not built that way. Period. I don't know that yet. Like I said before, it's probably nothing, but I've been betrayed by people before, and well, it won't happen again. That's all. I don't know that you'll betray me, but there are no guarantees. Not for you, not for me. You don't have to take it personally. Me? I don't remember ever saying anything about a traitor. All I mean is that if you're smart, you won't trust anyone. Not me, not Bastila, and especially not yourself. I don't need to be analyzed, thanks. Can we just get back to business? It's not what I want. I have a duty, and I intend to see it through. The galaxy is in danger, and I want to save it. That's what I want. Why is whether or not I trust you, or anyone, so damned important to you? Why do you even care? We don't have time for this, so can we please just drop it? For now, can we pick it up later if you really must? I want to get underway.
How can I help? Yes, I suppose I can understand your curiosity, given the bond that connects us. Very well. I'll tell you a bit about myself. I was found to be strong with the Force at a young age, as most Padawans are. As a girl, I was given to the Order to be trained. When I joined the Order, I left my family on Talravan, as all Padawans do. My family is still there, the last that I heard. I've had little contact with them, as it is discouraged. Relationships with family members are fraught with powerful emotions. Such extremes are to be avoided. Anger and hate are the worst, but even love can lead to folly. Like all who join the Order, I've learned to embrace the life I've chosen. I had to let go of my attachments to my family. It can be a hard lesson to learn. I was not on good terms with all of my family, but I do remember missing my father terribly for a long time. Very close. I was only a little girl when I left my family, but I still remember him fondly. He was kind and gentle and doted on me. My mother, however, was different. I was not on good terms with my mother. I was only a little girl when I left, but I was old enough to resent her and the way she treated my father. She pushed my father into treasure hunting. I spent all my young life on ships, traveling from one false lead to the next. She whittled away my father's entire fortune, and I hated her for it. I think she was relieved to give me to the Jedi, but my father was heartbroken. A child is too young to understand the sacrifices that must be made. It's better if they have no contact with their family once they're removed. Once I was older, I realized the wisdom of this policy. A Jedi must do what is needed, personal desires notwithstanding. Love can only obscure and confuse the matter. Even a Jedi cannot always control the feelings of the heart. We must do our best to guard against it, no matter what the cost. But some sacrifices are harder than others. I do not wish to discuss this anymore. I would rather return to our mission.
This isn't good. I can't afford this. You think I can? Do you know what they get for a healthy one of those things?
We'll work it out later. We've got company. What do you want, Spacer? I'm Patrol Captain Deno, and you're interrupting Zerka Corporation business. This Wookiee slave got a little rebellious. We had to put it down.
What? Blasters ready, men. This fool wants to die.
Lord
Lord Malak was most displeased when he learned you had escaped Taris alive. He has promised a great reward to whoever destroys you.
Then I suppose we have little choice. We should proceed with caution, however.
I have to give you credit. You've led me on quite a chase, but nobody gets away from Calo Nord in the end. You got lucky on Taris. The Sith attack saved you from a quick and gruesome death. But I promise you, the Sith won't be getting in my way this time. Let's go, boys. Showtime.
Watch yourself. Even more of these crawling beasts are hiding in the underbrush. I'm Jolie Bindo. Follow me to my camp and we'll talk a bit. Why am I here? Well, it isn't because I like the stink of dead Kinrath. Let's move this talk to my camp where the air is better. Quit your yapping for now. We'll talk when the company is better. Get to fighting! Well, welcome to my home, such as it is. Pull up a stump and be comfortable. We should discuss a few things. Don't coddle me, child. I'm neither a Jedi nor your master. I'm just an old man that's been lost in the woods for far too long. My days of glory are behind me, but perhaps there is something I can do for you. You must have questions. What is there to tell? Jolie Bindo is the crazy old man in the dangerous woods. I'm content with the impression I give. Why? Don't you like what I've done with the place? The creatures here aren't any more treacherous than elsewhere. I've seen my share of the dark and the light. Frankly, both extremes annoy me. Of course, I have felt rumblings of change.
I do not feel a taint of the dark side within you, old man. I sense you are a servant of the light, whether you will admit it or not.
Well, I assure you, I see more gray than dark or light. I'm just a stubborn old man, tired of the foolishness of others. Fine, just be brief. Now, why would you be asking about that, Don't answer. I knew that had to be why you were here. The problems of a few Wookiees don't amount to anything before the concerns of the Jedi. No, you are here for the map. Kashyyyk is an interesting place, more so than anyone suspects. If Zerka Corporation knew, the planet would be a strip mine. The Wookiees have their legends that they were not always here, but it is more than that. The trees themselves are strangers. What I'm saying is that there are literally walls in your way, and you won't find what you need without my help. And my help has a price. You must do a task for me, and then allow me to join with you. I will then remove certain barriers in your path. Since they began expanding in the Shadowlands, the Zerka have left me alone for the most part. Until recently, anyway. A group of them set up camp not far from here. Poachers is all they are. I'd like them removed from this place. You presumably have a ship. I've seen all I wish to here. Isn't that enough? I mean, I'm really sick of the trees. And perhaps your destiny might show me something new. You never know. They don't respect this place. They're butchering wildlife and threatening entire species. It's getting under my skin. The Wookiees could take care of themselves if they wished, but the animals are truly helpless victims. Oh, please, this is arbitrary errand work. But such are the requests of the aged. You still have to do it. Their camp is in the far northeast. Now remember, if I wanted them dead, I'd have done it myself. Find a better way. Good. Return to me here and we'll see how you have done. Shoot! Shoot!
Who are you, another civil merchant like that Koro slime up on the docking ring? This is my territory. I don't make deals, and I don't persuade easily, so go back topside. Mess with my profits, and I'll see you dead. He's got no authority with me. I'm with Zerka Corporation. He's just some pet we keep so the locals stay in line. As long as you don't get in my way, you can wander where you want. I've got a job to do. If you made it this far, you know a fair bit already. What would I be able to tell you? I'm no nav officer. I work on the ground, and I haven't seen anything like that around here. Of course, we haven't been much deeper than this. The eastern forest gets even more dangerous. It's not worth it. You're fighting the plants as well as the animals. Kashi vines are tough as metal and grow back fast. Instead, head office installed repulsor fields to keep the big predators out. Permanent placements, too. We'll be fine for years. If you made it this far... Besides you? Besides any number of predators that can kill in seconds? I suppose there's old Bindo. He's got a camp here somewhere. I'd leave him alone, though. Anyone who'd lived down here is just plain crazy. There's not much else. We've got a repulsor field to the east, so not much passes through here now. Hurry! Is that old hermit Jolie trying to talk you into doing his dirty work? We've spent too much on setting up just to walk away. As long as the sonic emitters keep the Preds away and I've got bodies to guard the perimeter, we're staying right here. I mean, if I can put up with my own worthless guards complaining about this place, Jolie whining through you is nothing. Good. I'm not down here to direct traffic.
You want anything, you'll have to talk to the commander. Why am I here? I'm here because this is where the commander told me to stand. I'm just a guard for this emitter. I'm not here because I know stuff. No more dangerous than walking out on the commander. I really need to get out of here. It's too dangerous.
This traitor. I'll make it.
What do you want? Don't you start with me. I don't know what you said to that other guy, but I'm not risking getting killed. Now leave me alone before the commander gets any ideas. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should make a break for it.
That was beneath you. I hope in the future you will strive to be better than this.
Traitor! I'll make an example of you.
What do you want? I'm not here because I know stuff. Don't you start with me. Now leave me alone before... Maybe you're right. Maybe I should make a break for it.
Traitor! I'll make an example of you.
What do you want? Now leave... Maybe you're right.
Traitor! I'll make an example of you.
What do you want? Now leave me... Maybe you're right.
Traitor! I'll make an... That's just great. I don't have the men to keep this location safe. I'll be back, though. There's money here.
Welcome back. I wonder, have you had much luck? Have you done as I asked? Yes, I heard the fuss of it. I told you I wanted a non-violent solution, and I had my reasons for it. You should have thought about that. Zerka Corporation will find the bodies and blame the Wookiees. This may cause more troops to be deployed. That means more disruption. I'm not pleased. But what's done is done. I'm not here to judge you. Hopefully you'll take care of that yourself. Oh, you're pretty much right, really. Truth be known, I won't judge how you fared. As long as you can live with yourself! Was that convincing? It's been a while since I've been in the company of someone that needed that kind of babysitting. A good teacher, and I'm not saying that I am one, but a good teacher doesn't mash a book in a student's face shouting, "Learn this bit here." If you can't look at the situation for yourself and see the logic behind my way of doing things, you're not the type to understand me anyway. Besides, you're a little old for that master-student fuss, aren't you? I know I am. Yes, of course. Let's get moving. I noticed the old path some time ago. You probably wouldn't have found them on your own. There's also a Zerka repulsor field blocking the way, past the poacher camp in the east. I saw it when it was installed, so I know how to pass it. And on the other side, ancient answers. And perhaps a Wookiee you were seeking. I hope he's in the mood for visitors. There, you see? Beautifully subtle, isn't it? At least compared to the other Zerka equipment dumped down here. It's only been here a short while, or the Wookiees would have disabled it. They wouldn't have had an easy time of it, though. But there are others, each blocking similar points on certain paths. It is all very calculated, very precise. It would have been effective if it hadn't relied on the creatures to be walking. Climbers don't have much trouble getting around it. I can manipulate it for a moment. Let me see. How did the Zerka engineers do it? There we go. Now, keep moving. These are the most dangerous depths of Kashyyyk. A few surprises wait for us, I'll wager. Got something on you. Oh.
Life forms detected. Determining parameters. Initiating neural recognition.
Yes, there's the thing. Obstinate machine. I've no doubt it holds what you seek, but good luck getting it operational.
Primary neural recognition complete. Preliminary match found.
Match found? What the... It always muttered something about rejected patterns for me.
Begin socialized interface. Awaiting instruction. Greetings. This terminal has not been accessed for quite some time. Error. Subject displays unfamiliarity to environment. Behavioral reconfiguration will be needed before access. I am sorry. I did not mean to confuse you. I will answer questions to the best of my programming limitations. I have been programmed with a very limited field of knowledge. Accessing. Yes, I have found a star map in original system memory. Access is restricted. Error. Data regarding author of the star map is corrupted. Your request requires additional security access. You must be made to match the parameters I have been supplied. There are measures available. Personality profiling will verify the basic structure of your conscious mind. With that, I will determine whether you are ready to receive the star map or can be made ready. Information unavailable. Evaluation commencing. Result will be compared against the pattern in memory. Just act like you should. You travel with a Wookiee and have encountered complications. Hypothetical. You and this Zalbar are captured and separated. If you both remain silent, 1 year in prison for each of you. However, call Zalbar a traitor, and he will serve 5 years, while you serve none. He is offered the same deal. But if you both accuse the other, you both serve 2 years. What do you do? What do you trust him to do? The temperament of a companion is unreliable at best. You wisely trade the threat of 1 year or 5 for none or 2.
This machine certainly seems to want a very specific type of response.
In this instance, the Wookiee is unreliable. His family has been a mire of treachery. I judge the answer correct. You display the proper behavior to match the pattern in memory. Evaluation will continue. Hypothetical. You are at war. Deciphering an intercepted code, you learn 2 things about your enemy. A single spot in their defense will be at its weakest in 10 days, and they will attack one of your cities in 5 days. What do you do with this information? What is the most efficient course of action? Very good. If you had moved to evacuate the city, you would have alerted the enemy to their lost codes. Ultimate victory required the deaths of the people in that city. You wisely ignored sentiment in your decision. Very good reasoning. I will apply it to the rest of the evaluation. You begin to match the pattern in memory. Hypothetical. Remove the ongoing war from the previous example. Consider enemy states to be weak and remote. With no external threat, your empire stagnates. Your people become complacent and begin to question you. Same scenario as before. You discover an impending attack, but also a weakness that will come after. How do you react? Of course you do. It makes the most strategic sense. Your people will rally beneath you against the common foe. As their eyes turn outward, your rule will strengthen. The trappings of war grant many opportunities. You have matched the pattern in memory. I recognize you and will fulfill my designated function. I am programmed to guide, not inform. Soon you will recognize the proper course to follow. The star map is yours. This unit has now completed its primary duty and finished with the subject. Executing final action. Activation of star map commencing. Parameters reset. Station initiated. And communication.
Well, the star map. An ancient artifact of dark side power. Can't say I'm surprised. I always knew there was something funny down here. I wonder if the star map has had an effect on the evolution of creatures here. Might explain why it's so dangerous down here. Interesting theory. I suppose we don't have time to test that now. Now that we've got what you need, we should be heading back to the treetops.
Yikukuno no ba mulira tikun. Tonghit kun chonching. Takom justach miki grabarmogo. Kuyami juz chikatat. Mucho shak pakat. Ka chikun it.
Hey, Bastila. You ever use the Force just for fun? You know, a little jolt to the Force to trip up some jerk who's ticking you off?
I would never use the Force for such petty and trivial revenge. The mere thought of it's preposterous.
Oh, come on. There's gotta be times when you thought about it. Don't be so stuck up. You can tell me.
I am not stuck up. I merely have the years of training to give me the wisdom and understanding to see how childish such an act would be.
Childish? Is that a crack about my age? You ain't much older than me, Miss High and Mighty. Just 'cause you're some Jedi doesn't mean you can be a prissy little... What the... Hey, that wasn't funny.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Mission. Come now, we have to get going. Please, do try to be less clumsy in the future.
Yeah, what do you want? I was one of the best youth warriors in the clan Ordo in my time. No one before me had mastered the power of our Basilisk war droids as quickly as I had. Except Mandalore himself, of course. In those days, we were sweeping across the Outer Rim, destroying all who fought us. Young Mandalores would prove themselves in real combat with unknown opponents above 1,000 worlds. Each brought back stories of his achievements. We were still recovering from the war we fought with the Sith. We were not yet strong enough to fight the Republic again. We needed to train another generation to do that. We would travel from world to world and descend on it in our Basilisk war droids. I still remember my first combat. I remember it well, orbiting high above a placid world, its defenses just stirring. As was tradition, I would go ahead of the first wave to find enemies in the thickest fighting. I remember sitting there in my armor, linked directly with the basilisk thrumming beneath me, my heart racing with fear of the coming battle. The doors opened in front of me, and the air was sucked out of the drop bay, scattering crystals of frozen vapor across my path. I can't describe what it feels like to look directly down at a world, falling continuously as you circle it, with barely 15 centimeters of armor plate protecting you. When the magnetic locks disengaged on my droid, I plunged out of the drop bay towards the battle that waited below. I don't remember. It doesn't matter anyway. That world's dead now. The exhilaration, the euphoria I felt as I streaked into the atmosphere, dodging self-guided projectiles and beam weapons, was unmatched. An 80-kilometer plunge through the atmosphere, dodging and weaving, the outside of my armor glowing like the sun with the heat of re-entry. And with barely 30 meters to spare, I twisted and skimmed the surface, firing at the giant beam generators that were in my path. The explosion from that sent shock waves that leveled the entire complex around it. It was the moment of my life. I'll never forget those times. But things are different now. We can't go on fighting the way we did. There are too few of us left now. But I really don't want to talk about this anymore. I trust I've satisfied your curiosity for now. Is there something else you want? Yeah, what do you... You want another war story, huh? You want to hear about some other world getting wasted, eh? I knew you were the type. Your stagnant republic has never seen some of the strange creatures and races we fought on the Outer Rim in those years. And you never will now. We were going through the asteroid fields of the Crispin system at the very edge of the galaxy, playing with the pirates and smugglers we found there. The main belt in the Crispin system consists of mainly small rocks covered in frozen methane gas shells, and the pirates were using them for cover. Ha! I remember using a thermal generator to cause the outer layer of one of the asteroids to vaporize in a picosecond. It blew out and shredded the 3 smugglers using it for cover, but that was a mistake. The asteroid I had targeted was smaller than most, maybe a dozen meters on the side. On the outside, it looked the same as any other, just a ball covered in frozen gas. But something must have been inside it, something inactive in the cold. The heat of my blast might have triggered something or woken something up. After I'd hit it, spots of light and heat appeared all over the thin shell, still covering evaporating gases. What lay underneath looked like some sort of rocky growth. A deformed rock, pitted by scores of micrometeorite scars. I think something even older might have been inside that. It started rotating faster and faster as we watched it. After a second, it started spraying fire. Before we could counterattack, it fled at an incredible speed. We couldn't catch it, but we could follow its hyperspace wake. We followed its trail as far as we could, heading away from the galactic core. When it finally led beyond the edge of our galaxy, we abandoned our efforts. Anything that wants to commit suicide in that great void is not worth our trouble trying to catch. That's the only story I have now. I'll tell you more stuff later if we get the chance. If there's something else you want to know, your choice.
Got something on your mind.
What is it? I am thinking much about Churchill. I'm very grateful and warm that you accepted my duty. I am not used to such unrealistic acceptance from one who's really since we can't learn to make their friends for long. Even though they remain alone, not ostracized exactly, but separate. What? It seems I was mistaken. I should have known things could not change for me that easily. As it is the Council's wishes, I will accompany you. I will do duty and trust that you will do yours. How may I be this? What is it? Well, I suppose I have not talked very much about the Jedi in that home. All of them were so very invigorating. If you do not wish to hear what I have to say, then find some other lady to converse with.
Yes, what's on your mind? Oh, you want to argue some more, is that it? Five years ago, the Jedi had just finished the war with the Mandalorians. Revan and Malak were heroes. I was damn proud to have served in the fleet. It was completely unexpected when they turned on us, invading the Republic while we were still weak. Nobody knew what to think, least of all me. Our heroes had become brutal, conquering Sith, and we were all but helpless before them. I mean, think about it. If you can't even trust the best of the Jedi, who can you trust? No, it wasn't even that. There were others. Good, solid men, trusted men who turned on us as well and joined their cause. Malak and Revan and the Sith deserve to die for what they've done, but the ones who fled the Republic and joined them are even worse. The dark side has nothing to do with why they joined with the Sith. They deserve no mercy. I know, and I should apologize to you. I've become so accustomed to expecting the worst in others, and you've done nothing to deserve that. It's just... no, never mind. Let's just continue with what we were doing. I'd rather not talk about it.
How can I help? I do. I've been watching you, studying you closely to see what kind of progress you've made since your training at the hands of Master Zahar. I've seen you give in to temptation and indulge your baser emotions on many occasions. I'm afraid you are on the path that leads to the dark side. You need to see what the dark side represents in its entirety, for it is what we battle. Only the wisdom of a Jedi Master can truly explain this, but I will do my best to make you understand. The dark side is not simply giving in to anger, temptation, or to use the Force to destructive ends. These things only lead to the dark side. The dark side grows stronger and more insidious the closer you draw to it. It begs you to surrender to it, to release all its terrible power, and it becomes harder and harder to resist. And once you stop resisting, it's too late. It twists you up inside and turns you into a mockery of everything you once stood for. I am no less resistant to temptation than any other. I simply have the benefit of training that you do not. But even the training of the Jedi might not be enough to save us. We need only to look at the atrocities which have been committed by those under its sway to understand the terrible, corrupting evil of the dark side. Millions dead, and far more suffering. What sort of person would you have to become to perform such deeds gladly? One who serves the light does not strike down an innocent. We take arms against the dark side and the injustice that follows it only. It's so easy to think that we would never fall prey to such a horror, that we have unlimited control, vigilance, and foresight. If only that were true. The Sith have become powerful because there are many Jedi who've succumbed to the lure of the dark side and joined their cause. What greater weapon is there than to turn an enemy to your cause, to use their own knowledge against them? We are weakened while they are strengthened, so we must harden our hearts and do whatever is required to fight against the dark side, even when the battle becomes wearying. I don't know. The vision of our future is clouded by shadows cast from the dark side, but I sense something ominous lurking in those shadows. But words alone cannot save one from the dark side. Come, we should continue with the task at hand. When the time comes, I only hope we are all strong enough to do what we must.